Tesla dropped the video as they were promoting Tesla's investors to vote for two proposals for the shareholder meeting. And if you slowed that video down, and we did, you'd find a lot of Easter eggs, including the photo, what could be the interior of the Robotaxi, a shot of the exterior rear, the code names they're using, the Robotaxi app in action, and even maybe how the unboxed manufacturing process looks like inside the factory. Today, we've got several of these clips as we've made them into super slow motion. We're going to look at it deeper, closer. I've got Hans Nelson joining me. He and I have been doing many videos on FSD, so now we finally got access to potentially leaked, maybe not leaked. We'll see what Elon says. Thank you, Hans.
Thanks for having me, Herbert.
Hans has his own YouTube channel called Hans C. Nelson. Check him out there. So let's start with what we've seen here. You've got a video first that was dropped by Tesla themselves. And they were doing this because they were trying to promote retail shareholders to invest. And they said, you know, let's go ahead and invest. But as you play this video, there's lots of short clips. I'll go ahead and play the full 2-minute video, but then also we'll have it slowed down and look at very close-up shots. Here's an example of one that you freeze frame it. You can see up here, there's a little signage that's NV93. And it looks like that this is a little render. You know, this is very similar to what we saw at the Walter Isaacson book, but you got the interior a little bit more. Why would they show this? And then they've got this shot there too. This is Franz looking at the actual interior, potential interiors. These are examples of that. So let's take a look first at the 2-minute video, and then we'll break it down scene by scene.
The goal is to give people hope that there is a path to a fully sustainable global economy, that we are on that path, that we are accelerating that path, and that so long as we don't get complacent about it, it will happen.
This was really the beginning of the end of the Tesla bubble. I actually think the company could go bust.
Tesla's Model Y is the world's best-selling car, beating out Toyota's RAV4 and its Corolla models.
Regarding FSD version 12, it's profound. The rate of improvement is rapid. It might be the biggest asset value appreciation in history when you can do unsupervised full self-driving.
I mean, that just sounds like a story stock. Autonomous taxis. I mean, can you really balance your checkbook with, sort of pie in the sky predictions like that?
If you ask the wrong question, the right answer is impossible.
My prediction is that a majority of Tesla's long-term value will be Optimus. And that prediction I'm very confident of.
It's very rare a product comes along that is seemingly impossible, that experts said would never be made. And this is one of those times. Finally, the future will look like the future. People say, why'd you make it bulletproof? I'm like, why not?
Energy storage deployments, the Megapack in particular, reached an all-time high in Q1, leading to record profitability for the energy business.
This is the machine that builds the machine, and the factory is the product. And this building is the most advanced car factory that Earth has ever seen.
If you value Tesla as an auto company, it's just the wrong framework. If somebody doesn't believe Tesla's going to solve autonomy, I think they should not be an investor in the company. But we will. And we are.
Very important that everybody votes on June 13th. You can actually start voting now for the two proposals, specifically move the reincorporation into Texas and then re-ratify the 2018 compensation package. That's why they put that video out. Now, did they show some Easter eggs? And could they have shown Easter eggs, or maybe they didn't? The likelihood is actually they didn't, right? We'll see, because Elon then said this: the Tesla team put this together of their own volition. I did not ask for it. But then FSD beta test pilot says, well, does this mean that they leaked Robotaxi details without his express permission? So it's more likely that the screenshots we're going to show you are not going to be, real. But you can tell me. What do you think, Hans?
I mean, I think that the screenshots are real, but that it's possible that, this had to get reviewed by somebody, and it was okayed and potentially even okayed by Elon after it was made, even though he didn't ask for it. I'm sure that he had a chance to review it before it was published. But I guess there is a possibility that they just posted it and sent it out without actually clearing some of those things with him. Either way, the the screenshots, the images, some of the stills, some of the short little video segments, they look pretty authentic to me, and I think that they're definitely worth looking at deeply and considering what their implications are for the future.
Okay. Well, let's look at the first one. So this shot here that we showed. What's your thinking here?
So one of the things this said was the NV93 vehicle package is what I think they called it, and you can see that by looking up there. Yeah, if you can zoom in on that, for viewers, if they want to go look at this video, find this frame, and they can zoom in there, they can actually read that. And that has no pedals, no steering wheel. So this looks like the actual Robotaxi version of whatever the next generation vehicle platform is. And this does kind of coincide with, remember that Reuters had reported that the NV91 vehicle package had been canceled. And that would have been the one with the steering wheel and pedals. And so I think, there potentially was some credibility to that reporting, but what Elon then, said afterwards was that they're actually going to be potentially, canceling that some production on that NV91, but they're going to be making some new smaller form factor vehicles on the existing lines. So I think they pulled forward the versions that have steering wheel and pedals into another platform that's probably closely based on the Model 3 and the Model Y. And then we'll just have to wait and see how everything unfolds, whether or not we'll get a steering wheel and pedals version also of this next generation vehicle platform that will be made on the unboxed model. But it's cool to see kind of the seating design that they're looking at. That's really all we're getting here. And this is just going to be one concept that they have for that. That doesn't necessarily mean that these, and I think maybe what you're implying earlier is that the fact that they're willing to show these to us probably means that these are not the final versions. They're not the ultimate decisions that were settled upon or agreed upon. But we do get to see that, hey, at least this is part of their thought process and their design process. And it's an interesting seat there. I can't tell it. That looks like something that would be very comfortable. I think it doesn't look super comfortable just from first glance, but obviously you'd have to sit in it to know. And you kind of see it's in front of, there's a more traditional seat there behind it that is probably a seat out of something like a Model 3. And so they're comparing and contrasting. The reason that they have both of those there is so that they can sit in one and they can sit in the other, and they can tell, okay, which one of these is more comfortable. And there was lots of considerations that are going to be, how comfortable is it? How easy is it to clean? How easy is it to manufacture? Which one is cheaper to make? All of these types of things they're thinking through at this stage here.
That's right. Very nice. And then you can see the front here does not have a steering wheel, right? I mean, I guess they could, like you said, it may be there, but it doesn't look like it from this design. And I wonder where all the screens are going to be, because it needs to be, just tremendous amount of screens. I don't know what this is, a kind of inset thing. Maybe it sticks out from here, bigger screen. We'll see that.
I think there's a frame, right here. In fact, actually, you can see where the screen is located. And we don't even know if these are the same concepts, that we just saw or not. They look similar, but these could actually be two different versions of the same thing. And that's, the numbers 91 and 93, like they could have been, concepts 1 through 100 or 1 through 125 or 150. And so just because they nix 91 or whatever, like most of the ideas that get thrown out there are actually going to be canceled or not pursued all the way to manufacturing. There's only going to be 1 or 2 or 3, a very small subset. It's going to be maybe 1% of all the ideas that they have, end up making it actually into the vehicle.
Okay, so we take a closer look behind him, and I don't know what we're looking at back here, but if we look, a little magnified, what do you think that is?
They look like, yeah, definitely concepts for the exterior appearance of the vehicle, and so it's real blurry, but that right there does look similar to the image from the Walter Isaacson biography that we had, which was another early version. It looks more updated. I would say that one looks a lot closer to maybe a squished down version of the Highland Model 3 there. And so I think that design language carries over a little bit more. And I would say maybe gets us closer to what it's actually going to look like. But yeah, I think that I would be surprised if it comes out looking exactly like that. And we'll just have to wait and see there.
So let's talk again back to the NV93 that you were talking about. That's what this says, NV93 vehicle package side view. And then Coding Mark said, looks like a few details from Inside EVs confirmed. A driverless robotaxi concept, codename NV93, a cheap Model 2, codename NV91, or new vehicle 91. So that's what NV stands for, new vehicle 91, 93. That's great. And then here's a tiny sneak peek from Tesla, what I think is their upcoming Robotaxi. There's this image that was froze from that video. What do you think this is?
It looks to me either like the front of the vehicle or the rear, but I think if I had to guess, it looks most like the rear bumper and that little lip there that's in black that kind of has some shape to it. I think that's most likely the rear diffuser on the trailing edge of underneath the bottom of the car in the back.
What does a diffuser do?
So the diffuser, its job is to channel the air that's coming underneath the vehicle, and then by expanding it as it gets closer to the rear end of the vehicle, it can actually create a little bit of suction and pull the vehicle down so that it has a little bit more traction there in the back.
Okay, cool. So let's watch some videos. Here is the app itself, the ride hailing app. I have two versions of this. So let's watch this one first. Um, pressing a summon button, then they flash to this. Then you can see that the summon button now shows you the direction where the robotaxi is going to come to get you. That's the short version. And then I slowly slowed it down as much as I can here when they were talking about the autonomous taxi. That's what they called it, autonomous taxi. So now, very slow, super slow motion. Just press summon button. Okay, well, the person talking, of course, is the skeptic. Okay, very slow. I slowed it down too much, but now you can see this. So yeah, so it says this might be the closest thing we got to see about the Tesla Robotaxi from the recent Tesla clips we got from Tesla. This is Tesla economics. Number one, you're going to be pressing and holding a summon button, sort of like an elevator, and a Robotaxi will come to where you are. The Robotaxi looks like a two-seater and it does not have any steering wheels, pedals, and brakes. The app will show you how far the car is away from you, which Tesla is coming to pick you up, map of the route that Robotaxi is taking, and you can change the climate of the vehicle, specify how many people are riding the vehicle, and where you're going to. Thoughts on that?
One of the things that people had said after we got the little still images of the app in the Tesla investor deck that they released here at earnings just a few weeks ago was that, well, this is just a mock-up. And I mean, there's very possible that was, but that little video clip shows us that it's a little bit beyond just they're not just still frames that they have actually done some sort of work to create at least some video, whether that's just a graphic designer who has put that together or whether there's more functionality to this app that's built out underneath. We don't know for sure, but I would say it's tending more towards the latter possibility than the former at this point. It looks like they're actually putting some effort into that app and, kind of building it out and getting it ready. And so that's a good sign. And it's very clean, very simple. I love the design aesthetics of it. I would say, that there's not a whole lot that you need from a ride sharing app, and all of the capabilities that they have shown there really answer the vast majority of questions that someone would have about what they want from that app. And so it's just really a matter of taking it and then building out all the functionality behind it, including all of the vehicles and and the ability for owners to put their vehicles on the network as well. So some of those things we haven't seen a screenshot of yet or any little promo videos, but that would be some of the other functionality that would need to be included in there as well.
Okay. Let's take a very slow shot of this. And so this is at the very, very beginning. So you can see this Stanford Shopping Center. They've already seen this, right? This is nothing new. This was exactly the same as before when they showed it earlier. And then, but there's this, a few little hints here possibly. So solar, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. That's just how
So
to
that
get
was
closer.
them
Mhm.
using a mill on a clay form
Mhm.
to that's just the process of doing a clay model of the exterior of the vehicle.
Yep. Did you see that?
Yeah.
There's a
Yep.
hidden car there. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, let's see if I can catch it. So that's that. That's just
Hmm.
a regular car. That's the reflection off a Cybertruck, it looks like.
Yep. With the wiper.
That's the
Yeah.
inside
I
of a Model
think this
Y.
is the, I think that was the Performance Model 3 with the new seats.
This one. What's this one?
So
Roadster?
this is a great question because that grill looks like just a standard Model 3 to me, but the lights don't look like the standard Model 3. This was an interesting one. I'm not exactly sure what it is that we're looking at here. I would need to do some, and the yeah, especially with the rims and everything. I haven't looked at this frame closely enough to really decide what I think that that is. The little green
Yeah.
thing, that was a foam block that they were also cutting.
Okay. So I'm going to show us a section here where they show it possibly looks like the unboxed model. So let me play this part right here. Look at that. I mean, they're building something and it looks like it's unboxed because it's like pieces and that's the rear and the front and they're bringing it together. But it certainly looks like that it looks like it's just the Cybertruck. So wait.
Yeah, those castings, those are very distinctly, or not the castings, but that big rail up on the right hand side that's over the wheel well, that looks very Cybertruck. And then all of the rest of the shots that we're looking at, if you kind of watch that whole scene, it's in a very small space that's in a tent. And what this looks like to me, if I had to guess, is the one of the little design center spaces that is actually in Hawthorne at SpaceX's location, where
Yeah.
Franz von Holzhausen and his team work. And this looks to me like them assembling one of the prototypes of the Cybertruck. Like if you look at all these components, these are not the way that any of these pieces look in when the team got to, or not the team, but when they showed everyone the manufacturing lines for the Cybertruck, all those castings looked different than in those pieces. All those components looked a little bit different. So I'm thinking this is us going back in time several years to when they were initially doing the prototyping for potentially, that could have been the very first Cybertruck that they rolled up when they did the Cybertruck unveil. Just the way that all those components looked, it's very early on in the design concept phase. And I think this is probably the way that it would look while they were hand building the first one. Especially, you've got all those different jigs that they're rolling the pieces around on and stuff, trying to do everything. And then after that specific frame, they show the side body panel where they're hand clamping it together and welding it and doing a bunch of
Mhm.
stuff. And
See
all
that,
of
yeah.
that process, there's so much manual work that's going on there that's not something that would have been done once it was further along into the design and they were figuring out how to mass manufacture it, like this is just, let's get the first, let's get the shape down, let's get some of the initial pieces figured out. And then I think these frames that looks like a Model Y to me.
Okay, so this is that part right here, right? So they're just
Yep.
building it.
Yeah, they get them set into place, front and back.
There,
Right
that
here,
part
you
right
can
here.
see,
What
yeah,
is
like
this? Yeah, this Cybertruck.
that's just
yeah.
the side of the Cybertruck, and you can see like they're manually gluing the body side outer and the body side inner together. And yeah, that's not a process. Like this is so inefficient. Like you would never mass manufacture anything like this. This is just very, very early in the design phase. Like I said, I think this is probably one of the first 1 or 2 or 3 prototype Cybertrucks that were ever produced.
Makes
And then
sense.
here you can
So
see they're
good
playing with
you
that.
pointed that out. Yeah, they don't want to share. They shouldn't share anymore at this point. That's what, as far as we're concerned.
Yeah.
What do you think about this part right here? The robot, the bot. Hard to see if this is like the actual new hand or probably just the old hand.
I'm pretty sure that was a shot from the old hand when they were, I think it was the second or third Optimus video. Yeah, there was a video when it was Optimus building Optimus, the very first Optimus
Yes.
building Optimus video.
Yeah.
And they were like trying to take apart or plug in some cables. And I think it was just a screenshot from that early video.
I love it. Look at this. All the Cybertrucks leaving, beautifully done. They're now getting closer to mass production. There was 200 Cybertrucks found in Chicago just this weekend. So it's pretty cool. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to find that spot with the robot hands and I can't find it. I think it's here. There it is.
There. Yep.
See, that looks like it's actually like three knuckles instead of just 2. So it looks like it's actually more advanced. But yeah, and then what's this?
Those are they look like 18650 battery cells to me. So the longer, skinnier batteries that go into the Model S and the Model X packs.
Okay.
So that's probably video from Panasonic more than likely.
Okay, well there you go. So we took very close ups, lots of shots there. We took a look at the potential model, the Robotaxi. We looked at the code names, maybe the rear. Then you possibly unbox, which we've said is not. So a lot of this very likely is not the actual leaks of the actual images. But I like the way you said it, which is these are things that show you what they're thinking. At least this is certainly what they're thinking in their head. I still believe that the Robotaxi is going to be cyber. He called it cyber cab, and for the longest time, I've been saying that it's going to be cyber inspired. It's going to be futuristic.
Mhm.
And you were the one that told me that there's actually many different ways to make the steel. You don't need to make the bulletproof version, and so you could make a bendable, maybe not bendable, but a lot easier to, cheaper material.
Yeah,
those
if it
kind of
was
things.
just thinner stainless steel, you would get a lot of the benefits of not having, like, it would be corrosion resistant, it would be easy to clean, all
Yeah.
those things. But if it was thinner, you could bend it a lot easier, and it'd be a lot easier to manufacture. In fact, and they are, like I said, they are actually doing that for the body side inners and the doors on the Cybertruck already. And so they could have a similar process for the exterior, as long as they didn't want it to be so thick that it could be bullet resistant.
It makes zero sense for them to go back to a normal cars thing and paint it all, and they're just not going to do the paint whole thing. If it's Robotaxi, the interior, Jeff Lutz was saying, yeah, he would, if he was to do this, of course, it's Robotaxi. You want it very easy to clean. So like you just take a hose and you just, go the whole inside could be hosed down. I mean, I don't know if you'll ever, go that far, but you know what I mean? And so it's weird that these seats possibly it's got all those ridges to it, as opposed to that, but maybe that is maybe a more affordable way to make the seats. Maybe it is a way to make it easier to clean. I don't know, but interesting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be very
All right.
surprised if those seats that we saw end up being
Are
the
the
final
way.
design, just because they seems like not optimized for several things that will be very important for the Robotaxi.
Okay, well, that was fun. We went and to spend the time to slow everything down because this is a big deal for Tesla. We might not have learned a lot, but there's a lot here. Like little things like the code name is true. You can see that that was the case. That's not something they're hiding at this point. They're showing it to you. The code name's a code name, but you know what I mean. Like little things like that matter. They showed you the Robotaxi app. That part is true. They've just shown you 3 screens, so I'd be curious to see what else you can do. But press summon. You can see the map. It's coming. Means that they've not just, it's actually, built out the mapping, which they've got, tracking they've got. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Hans. Follow him on his YouTube channel, Hans C. Nelson. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Hans. Bye-bye. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.